Have you ever noticed how a single moment, a careless comment, tone, a small inconvenience can hijack your entire day? It's strange, isn't it? One sentence from someone else, and suddenly your peace is gone. Your mood shifts. Your mind starts replaying what happened again and again. You carry it with you, like a weight you didn't ask for. But here's something most people never realize. It wasn't their words that ruined your day. It was your reaction to them. And I know that might sound uncomfortable, because it feels easier to believe that other people have power over how we feel, that they made us angry, or pushed our buttons. But what if I told you that the moment you understand this truth, everything changes? What if you could walk through your life completely unshaken, no matter what people say, no matter what they do? Imagine that for a second. Imagine someone tries to provoke you, and you don't react. Someone disrespects you, and it doesn't disturb your inner state. Chaos happens around you, but inside, you remain still. That's not weakness. That's power. And today, I'm going to walk you through the exact mindset shifts that make this possible, not by suppressing your emotions, not by pretending you don't care, but by mastering something far deeper, your response. So stay with me until the end, because one of these lessons, especially the later ones, can completely change how people affect you forever. And if at any point you feel like this is hitting something real for you, just take a second and comment one below. It tells me you're not just watching, you're actually thinking. Let's begin. Picture this. You're having a calm day, maybe you're enjoying a quiet moment, and then suddenly someone says something rude, or dismisses you, or does something inconsiderate, and instantly everything shifts. Your chest tightens, your thoughts race, you feel that familiar surge of irritation, or anger, or frustration. In that moment, it feels automatic, like you had no choice. But here's the truth, most people never stop to see. Between what happens and how you react, there is a space, a small, invisible gap. And inside that gap is your power. Most people never use it. They react instantly, emotionally, automatically. But the moment you pause, even for 1 second, you step out of being controlled and into being in control. Think of it like this. The world is loud, people are unpredictable, situations are messy, but your mind can be like noise-canceling headphones. The noise doesn't disappear. The chaos is still there, but it no longer reaches you. And that's what emotional mastery really is, not controlling the world, but controlling what gets inside you. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, don't rush to react. Pause, breathe, and ask yourself one simple question. Is this worth my peace? Because in that moment, you're not just choosing a reaction, you're choosing who you become. Now here's where it gets even deeper. One of the biggest reasons people get frustrated is not because of what others do, but because of what they expect them to do. We expect people to be like us, to think like us, to care like us, to act the way we would act. And when they don't, we feel disappointed, disrespected, hurt. But think about it. Every person you meet is shaped by a completely different set of experiences, beliefs, fears, and priorities. So expecting them to behave the way you would is like expecting the weather to follow your mood. It doesn't work. And more importantly, it only hurts you. The moment you release that expectation, something incredible happens. You stop taking things personally. That rude comment? That's them. That inconsiderate action? That's their mindset. That lack of respect? That's their character, not your worth. And suddenly, you feel lighter, because you're no longer trying to control something that was never yours to control. And if you're starting to see this differently already, take a second and hit like. It helps push this message to more people who need it. Now let's talk about something that quietly destroys peace more than anything else. The need to be right. Think about the last time you argued with someone. Maybe it was something small. Maybe it was something important. But in that moment, what did you want more? Understanding or winning? Most people don't realize this, but the need to always be right is not strength. It's insecurity in disguise. Because when your identity is tied to being right, every disagreement feels like a threat. And so you defend, you argue, you push back, not because it matters, but because your ego demands it. But here's the shift. What if you didn't need to prove anything? What if you could hear someone's opinion and simply let it exist without needing to fight it? You don't have to agree. You don't have to validate it. You just have to decide, is this worth my energy? Because most arguments aren't about truth. They're about control. And the person who stays calm, who doesn't get pulled in, that person holds the real power. There's a question I want you to remember. Would I rather be right, or would I rather be at peace? Because you can't always have both. Now let's go even deeper. One of the biggest traps people fall into is letting other people's words define them. Someone criticizes you, and suddenly you doubt yourself. Someone dismisses you, and your confidence drops. Someone judges you, and you start questioning your value. But think about this carefully. Why should someone else's opinion determine how you see yourself? They don't know your full story. They don't know your struggles. They don't know your intentions. So why give their words that much power? The truth is, the moment you rely on external validation, you give others control over your emotions. And once they have that control, they can raise you up or tear you down whenever they want. But when your sense of worth comes from within, everything changes. Criticism becomes information, not identity. Judgment becomes noise, not truth. Negativity becomes irrelevant, not damaging. And that's when you become truly free. Now let's talk about something most people avoid: boundaries. Because here's the reality: if you don't set boundaries, people will use your time, your energy, and your attention without even realizing it, not always because they're bad people, but because you never showed them where the line is. And every time you say yes when you want to say no, you slowly lose respect for yourself, and others start to feel that too. Boundaries aren't about pushing people away. They're about protecting what matters: your time, your energy, your mental clarity, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And the strongest people aren't the ones who give endlessly. They're the ones who choose carefully. Now here's a powerful shift. You are not responsible for managing everyone else's feelings. You are responsible for protecting your own. And once you understand that, saying no stops feeling selfish. It starts feeling necessary. Now let's move into something even more powerful: detaching from opinions. Because most people live their entire lives worried about what others think. What will they say? How will they judge me? Will they approve? And without realizing it, they become prisoners. But here's the truth: people are always going to have opinions, and most of those opinions have nothing to do with you. They're projections, reflections of their own fears, beliefs, and limitations. So when you take them personally, you're reacting to something that was never truly about you in the first place. The moment you detach from that, you reclaim your freedom, you stop performing, you stop overthinking, you start living. Now let's talk about one of the most underrated forms of power: silence. When someone provokes you, your instinct is to respond, to defend yourself, to fight back. But here's what most people don't understand: reaction feeds conflict. Silence starves it. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means control. It means you're not willing to lower yourself to that level. It means you value your peace more than your pride. And often, silence says more than words ever could. Because the person who can stay calm in chaos is the one who wins without fighting. Now here's something that might surprise you. One of the fastest ways to dissolve anger is gratitude. Because you cannot feel anger and gratitude at the same time. They can't coexist. So when something goes wrong, instead of focusing on what's missing, shift your attention. What's still good? What's still working? What do you still have? That simple shift changes everything. It pulls you out of negativity and puts you back in control. Now let's reframe something people usually hate: criticism. Because most people see criticism as an attack. But what if it's actually a tool? Not all criticism is useful, but some of it is incredibly valuable if you're willing to look at it without ego. Because hidden inside criticism is feedback, and hidden inside feedback is growth. The strongest people don't avoid criticism. They filter it. They take what helps and discard what doesn't, and that's how they improve without losing themselves. Now we arrive at the final and most powerful lesson: letting go. Holding on to anger is like holding a burning coal, waiting to throw it at someone else. You're the one getting burned. Every time you replay the past, every time you hold on to resentment, every time you refuse to release what happened, you're carrying unnecessary weight, and it drains you. Letting go doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you're choosing not to suffer from it anymore. It means you're choosing peace over pain, freedom over control. Because the truth is, You can't move forward if you're still holding on to what's behind you. So ask yourself this: what would my life feel like if I just let this go? Because that's where your power is. Not in holding on, but in releasing. And if you've made it this far, you're already different from most people. Because most people never question their reactions, they just live inside them. But you're starting to see the space, the choice, the power. And here's the payoff. The moment you stop reacting, people lose control over you. The moment you stop needing validation, you become independent. The moment you stop engaging in unnecessary conflict, you become untouchable. Not because the world changes, but because you do. And when you change, everything feels different. So from this moment forward, practice the pause. Choose your response. Protect your peace. Because your calm is your greatest strength, and your silence is your greatest weapon. Now, if this opened your mind even a little, don't stop here. There's another video where I break down the exact phrases you can use to command respect instantly without raising your voice. Trust me, that one will change how people treat you. Click the next video on your screen right now. And if you got value from this, drop a 1-inch in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.